instead of going and trying to help, she's just standing there twiddling legs with a ball rolling. I was gonna say something.
We call the meeting to order. I want to welcome all guests and visitors. Kansas at the record show, we got a quorum present. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry.
Approval January 9th. 23 minutes. Okay, changes. You got change?
No.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Any opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the board agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion?
I make a motion to approve,
He made a motion.
to approve.
You second motion.
Second.
Got a
Yes.
second. Only discussion is that, only note change on the agenda, and this, that we moved up the board comments above the, closed session. And next meeting, if there's anything discussed out in closed session, we won't ask Mr. Park to come back this meeting. We'll discuss and let him know what is discussed at the next meeting, but it also will be in the minutes if anything is discussed.
Very good.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Public comment?
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Thomas Kessler.
You have 30 minutes.
I can feel it.
You have 3 minutes. We normally don't respond, but you do have 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. The school improvement team assigned me to a subcommittee, and that subcommittee is the community relations piece of the puzzle. So what I'm here to share with you tonight, like I did back at the county commissioners meeting in January and county commissioners meeting tonight, is the progress of our curriculum night celebration that we're having on March 23rd. March 23rd is the date that we're handing out report cards, as is TES. So we're going to have a big fanfare, big event going on. Track meet is going on as well. We're going to have stages set up. The band is going to play. We're going to have a middle school stage and a high school stage for different departments to share what's going on in the curriculum. Students who will share parts of speeches in the history department. Maybe there's poetry readings. We don't have those things nailed down exactly who's participating where, but we have times and events and everything's staggered. Food, everybody's going to get a bagged meal, hot dog wrapped up, bag of chips, and either a cold soda or a bottle of water. So that's all good things going on to establish better relations with our community and let them see what's on parade. One thing that we have done is, I didn't intend for there to be any part of science on this particular night, because science night is a big deal at the end of April. And there's not anything that we're doing to undermine Tammy Wicks and her crowd, because they just do a bang up job and they already have 18 billion things going on. And it's really exciting to find out what the science department is doing over there. We'll get to that, but I came to announce specifically the curriculum night. So I would hope that you'll make plans to come. It's from 5:30 till 7 on Tuesday, the 23rd.
March, right?
Yes, sir, March 23rd. I beg your pardon. Thank you.
Pronounce your last name for me.
Kester, Kester.
Thank you, Mr. Kester. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You won't hurt your feelings if I go eat my sub now, because I could go.
You just
We're not gonna hold you to 30 minutes.
Thank you, gentlemen and
Thank
ladies.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion item 8, first reading for special policy update on drug and alcohol testing.
Good evening, board.
Steve,
Policy number 7241, it's a fairly easy one to approve and read. What it basically entails is that we no longer have to contact an employer's previous employer in regard to drug testing and CDL licensing. We can find that information in a CDL clearinghouse. Jones County Public Schools requires everybody to have a drug test anyway prior to employment. So this isn't as relevant to us in Jones County.
any questions?
With the clearinghouse that the school set up in, do they send out randoms? Do you get randoms?
Yes,
We have that too, so I was just curious.
sometimes that can be tricky when it comes to substitutes, but we make it happen.
That's right.
You're good.
Great.
Thank you, brother.
Budget report.
Good evening, Chairman and everyone. In your packet, you should have found a copy of your January expenditure report and budget report showing where we stood at the end of the month. If you had any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
Any questions?
So they're taking out the small county stuff, the state,
You looking at 019?
Yes.
I think so.
So
Yeah,
019 was one of the budgets that we were expected to overspend by $320,000. So the 209 that we backed out are savings that Dr. Thigpen, Bryce, and Danielle have recognized so far for the year. So right now, you're just over $100,000 projected to overspend. Your allocation is still $1.8 million. So at the beginning of the year, we let y'all know we were way over budget, but with a lot of hard work, we've reduced that by 209.
good.
How about transportation with the gas? Yeah.
Transportation is still over budget. The state keeps telling us we're going to receive additional funding and that there's still a portion of our allocation to be dropped. We had Julia's call last week, and Kevin with Department of Transportation indicated they were waiting on legislation to decide what they were going to drop in our final law.
Yeah, that was my biggest question. Did we ever hear anything back from the state?
We call and harass them with
Any other questions?
Do you feel comfortable right now in ballparking how we might end up over? Or would you rather wait?
you mean for the year?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a presentation that I'm putting together for you for the board retreat,
That's-
if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How long is it gonna take when you go to show it to us? So I know where to rest up and all
Yes, that's
Short
anyway.
and brief.
that. Do I?
I can keep it short and brief. Dr. Tick can only allow me 45 minutes, so I can only be so passionate.
We can up that to an hour and
45 minutes.
a half. We can up that to an hour and a half. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Melissa.
Department update.
Board members, you have before you a update from Human Resources, Maintenance, Transportation, also from Technology, Academics, Testing Department, School Food Service. And so, this continues what we started last month, where you get a monthly update from each of the departments as well as finance about what's going on in our district. So if you have any questions about any of that, please don't hesitate to contact us and let us know. You can see Bryce has done some work about our attrition rate and expected retirements to give you some insight into those things.
Well, we didn't get this when last week, right? Is this new? I mean, I didn't see it the first time, and I didn't really look at it the second time.
Yeah.
It was loaded. Okay, I did never look at it. I had a lot going on. It was good because I was only requested ahead of time, but it did.
Okay.
Bryce, do you you feel like this is pretty manageable? I mean, I know you're on top of things.
It is if it doesn't all happen at once. And Miss Gloria and myself have pulled dates and numbers, and it looks like it's going to be more staggered
Right.
than all at one time, which will be a big help.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, superintendent update.
I want to remind board members that we have our retreat, which Melissa had mentioned on February 23rd. We're going to try to start that at 9:00. And so if there's any items you want us to, if you see some information in there that you want us to add to the agenda or the agenda we've already set, please let us know. And we'll include that information in there. I want to thank each of the board members for their visit to Jones Senior High School to sit down with Mr. Knowles and get an overview of the things that they have going on there. It's much appreciated that you all take the time to go out and see exactly what they're doing. So thank you each for that and investing in investing your time in our school system so you're aware of what's going on. That's to be commended, and that doesn't happen everywhere. So thank you for that. I wanted to make you aware that Danielle Bryan has made contact with the health department. This had happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they had began to work on some drug education programs for our students and our staff, prevention programs. And so that was going on about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that continues, and they have begun to put together when they're going to do those presentations and the staff to go with our staff. Danielle has also contacted David, our attorney, about a Narcan policy for our district, whereas before our SROs just had that. We're going to look to, with his guidance, expand that where we have it on campus. David's going to get back with us about how we handle that policy-wise. So we're moving forward with that. Any questions about any of that?
When did you say the drug prevention?
Danielle had met about 2 or 3 weeks ago with them. And so in the past, and they were tentatively planning things. They don't have all of the details of exactly when the dates are yet, but it should, by the time we meet the 23rd, we should have all that information that we could share with you.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Are we considering, the use of drug dogs, at random?
We even over a year or so ago, we can allow drug dogs to visit the campus.
I think it would be a good idea, to be sort of very vigilant for the next, until school ends, on a regular basis.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but is that effective against just about everything?
I mean, it's certainly a positive, proactive step.
I mean, but the dogs can detect pretty much anything. I'm thinking. I don't know.
They're pretty good.
They
Some of them are
can't do
trained,
it wrong.
yeah.
If they've already taken some before they go in, they don't have it on them, won't detect it. Will it?
If it's been in their pockets, or it'll probably be a hit.
We have, it's in our policy that our board policy about how we'd have to follow that protocol. And we didn't.
I know it can't be random, it has to be,
Right.
for everyone.
It's by random, I mean, do we, I mean, I know what you're saying about covering everybody, but is the time random that we use them?
Yes,
In other words, they don't know when it's coming.
yes.
Okay.
Probably should be on lockdown at that time, so nobody leaves or enters.
And then just have it a universal walkthrough.
There you go.
Each classroom, that's what we've done in the past.
So we're moving forward with those things. I want you to be aware of that. Also want to make note.
Just a second, about 15. Will that be, from a certain grade up? Or are we, I mean, I know that would be insensitive probably in some areas, but I mean, there is case of an elementary student in a neighboring county within the last year or so that had cocaine at school. And I was wondering if that would be from a certain level up or how we would handle that.
I mean, I think we could talk with the sheriff's department and guide however we need that.
And I hate to even bring it up as far as elementary goes, but it's happening.
Well, they're older, some of them are older kids that are in elementary.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It can be.
Yeah,
Okay. Wanted to make everyone aware that it's Counselor Appreciation Week this week, so if you get a moment, please say thank you, and I want to make it that we appreciate the work that our counselors do for our school system. All of our staff, administrators, and our teachers are working really hard. They're doing some really good things with our students, and we're just proud of them and wanted to make note of that. We also want to make note of Majay Brown. He's been doing really well basketball wise. He's had 2 games over 30 points, and he's really, the basketball team is 10-7. Last home game for them is tomorrow night, and so we wish them well in the playoffs and congratulate Majay on his work and his success on the basketball court.
and all of them really, with that record, coach, you know, the whole squad.
So,
But that's exceptional.
so thank you all very much.
This one must have been bad.
Thumbs down this time.
Action item 4A, approval of sole source provider, let's go sport light.
And last April, we received a grant from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for updating one of our sporting facilities. The decision was made that we would upgrade our lighting at the football field. Since our poles that are currently installed there were installed by Musco, we have gotten approval from the state to move forward without bidding the process and then being sole source to go back with Musco lighting. But as a board, you must also approve the sole sourcing.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
It's that time of the year, our auditors will show up in April to begin their pre-audit work. Then we'll sign a contract with them. This is our 3rd year with a 2-year renewal option. This is their contract before you. They're honoring the same price for the first 3 years, and if you choose to opt in the following 2 years, it'll be the same price.
And this is their 3rd year.
This is the third.
Any questions? Sir?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next up is the board amendment, the budget amendment number 2, but we need to do the resolution first. We, at the beginning of the year, adopted a planning resolution, based off our planning allotments that we have received, and this is your formal budget resolution. It's just a technicality. But this will be your official budget resolution for the year. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
You say adopt the resolution first and
It's
then the
action D,
amendment?
do action D first.
Yes.
It was just backwards on the
Yeah.
agenda. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the budget resolution.
No, second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the final item I need for you guys to approve is budget amendment number 2. This is some additional funding from the state and feds, some additional fund balance from local. Danielle got a $60,000 grant we're putting in local food services. Like everyone else with inflation, their line to overspend for the year, so we've amended her budget. And that's pretty much the extent of our budget amendment so far this year.
And
Kevin?
the one with the $60,000 grant, that's number 2, budget amendment number 2.
Yes, sir.
Did that, food increase, the fund balance going back?
She's hoping that, like last year, they got something called supply chain incentive. So because they were having such a hard time finding things and they were having to literally go to Sam's and buy, they got an additional allotment for that. So she's hoping with the cost of inflation that they'll get an additional allotment, is what she's hoping. But yes, it would come from their fund balance, if not. And she does have a substantial fund balance for a food service group.
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget amendment 2.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Board comment, Mr. Walker.
No, I'm good.
Mr. Griffin.
Yeah, one thing I got was, appreciate, Mr. Noble and Dr. Parker having us out there. I learned some things I'm gonna bring up later down the line. But other than that, I think, we learned a lot. We were there for.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Just that, Mr. Griffin there, I'm very appreciative and for the invite and, what we learned. There's some exciting things going on there. And, just what he showed us is just great. And I also want to make mention that I want to thank Dr. Thigpen for, he's been working extra hard here lately and I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thing I have, again, piggyback on Mr. Griffin, thank you for the high school for sitting us down and going through those additional meetings that they had to. Very appreciative of that. Also, want to mention, I like the update on the department. And again, it was sent out in advance, but great detail on that. Well, thank you for that. And I don't know if everybody got the email for February 24th for the oyster roast. If you ain't never been to that, just know.
Is that FFA?
Yes.
I don't think I've got that yet.
From 6 to 8. And my last thing is, again, when I ran for the board, a couple of things that I tried to accomplish. And one of them, and this goes back also to the funding that Dr. Thigpen saved, and that's our board pay. We're the highest paid board in the region. I think we need to look at that. I know it'd be tough because we got to have a unanimous vote to get that done. But there are some other things that we can do about additional pay that we don't need a unanimous vote on for travel and things of that nature that I think we need to look at as we go into our budget retreat. If they can save $200,000, find ways, the board got to be able to step up. Our superintendent, our finance officer, our assistant superintendent, our teachers are not the highest paid people in the region. But this board sit up here and we are the highest paid board in the region. We outpaid Jacksonville. We got to go to Raleigh to compete with our pay. And I just think that we need to look at that. If they can find $209,000 to help out with the budget, I think we can find ways. Again, it will take a unanimous board to drop the pay, but there's some additional things that we can do to drop the pay without a unanimous vote. I think we just need to look at that.
To speak out of line, if I may, I've already had my chance, but I would like to reiterate what you're saying. It's difficult times right now. And if they're working as hard, I agree with you 100%. If they're working as hard and their pay is in line with people our size, I think we certainly need to take a look at that. And I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Was that February 25th for the oyster roast?
24th,
24th?
6 to 8.
6 to 8. All right. Thank you.
I forgot to mention that Dr. Greg Murphy is going to be touring Jones Senior High School on February the 15th at 2 o'clock. And so I wanted to make you aware as board members that he's coming. Bryce and myself will be here. Mayor from Maysville will be here. So
And I think he's also, and I don't know if y'all got an email, he's sitting down with all elected officials, I think in Trenton at the restaurant.
Is that before he
Yeah,
tours the
before
schools?
school. I don't know what time that is. Do you?
I haven't received that.
I
but
didn't
I
either,
heard
but
about
I did too.
What time is it gonna be at Jones Center?
it's 2 o'clock.
2.
I think it's 1 o'clock that he's 12:30 to 1. I'll look at my email and send it out.
Is that more like a lunch date kind of thing?
I think
I think it's at 18.
17, 84, they're just going to sit down there. So
That's what you said. And the retreat is at what time?
It's February 23rd at 9.
All right. We'll enter into closed session to discuss personnel matters within statute 143-318, 11A, 1, 3, and 6.
I move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you, Mr.
Any
President.
opposed? Can't thank for the note. Thanks for the note. Maybe look tomorrow night. Oh.
Be right back. Old age problems.
It makes something.
I didn't hear the